Welcome back to Stray Trains. We will keep what has been an annual tradition alive on this channel and provide a mid-year update on Melbourne's aging Comeng fleet. This year will be the 2025 mid-year Comeng fleet update. From projects to general operation, we will discuss lots. But because it's on everyone's mind, let's start off with the topic of Comeng retirement. Hope you enjoy the video. Before we make any predictions, let's take a look at some factors. Firstly, to clear things up, this is a Stage 2 Life Extended EDI refurbished Comeng. These are the ones that have the yellow interior. And this is a Stage 3 Life Extended Alstom refurbished Comeng. And these are the ones that have the green interior. Which is the main difference between the two types of Comeng in service? The other one is their braking system, but we won't worry about that for now. As of June 2025, there are 111 3-carriage Comeng sets still active for service, 54 Alstom disc brake sets, and 57 EDI tread brake sets. Only 4 sets less total from 115 sets last year when this video was made in 2024. In the recent 2025 state budget, the Victorian government announced that $26 million will be allocated for Comeng fleet disposal to free up space for the XT2 fleet along the network, telling us that throughout the 2025-2026 financial year, Comeng will be displaced as XT2 trains enter service. Now, I'm not really focused on making a point about the cost. The bigger picture here is that we now have written confirmation from the government itself that Comeng are going to be getting the chop over the next financial year. That means that anytime from July 1, 2025 effectively. Another factor that could determine when Comeng sets get retired is the Metro Tunnel opening to the public. Following the same concept as XT2 trains entering service, if high-capacity Metro trains, the trains that are designated to operate through the Metro Tunnel, are now operating on the Sunbury line, the Comeng will no longer be needed on this line. Similar to how Comeng trains were retired during the same time frame as when high-capacity Metro trains entered service along the Pakenham and Cranbourne lines. Although the Metro Tunnel is a little bit different. Once it opens fully operationally, only high-capacity Metro trains will run on the Sunbury line through the tunnel. This means you can't have a slow cascade of Comeng and Siemens off the Sunbury line for high-capacity Metro trains. Rather, it might be from a day one straight to 100% high-capacity Metro trains. This problem could see an interesting decision on when certain Comeng sets get withdrawn due to the Metro Tunnel opening. Though this is all dependent on timetabling once the tunnel opens. It was announced in June 2025 that there would be a soft opening. Essentially, only a few off-peak services will run through the Metro Tunnel until the full opening in early 2026. If that is the case, Comeng will still be required on the Sunbury line until the Metro Tunnel is in full operation. Another factor to consider is the state government also announced that there will be an upgrade to off-peak service frequency through the day on various lines. However, in my opinion, this is really a non-factor into Comeng retirement, as if they have enough trains to run during the peak, there are still less trains required for the boost in service frequency off-peak. In other words, let's say you have 100 trains. Yes, there are more, but let's just say there's 100 trains that run on the Metro network for this example. A few trains are in maintenance, so let's say there's 95 trains available. They might use 90 for the peak and 70 for the off-peak. Hopefully this makes sense, but essentially a boost in off-peak frequency requires more drivers, not necessarily more trains. So essentially, when Comeng are retired, is logically going to be determined by the rate of when XT2 trains enter service and when the Metro Tunnel fully opens, that is, the Sunbury line becomes 100% run by high-capacity Metro trains. Now, how exactly that plays out, who knows? When the retirements probably commence, who knows? But it does seem likely that some sets will be retired in late 2025 or early 2026 due to the delays due to a later full opening of the Metro Tunnel and also XT2's entering service at some point in 2026. The other question is, which sets will get the chop? That too is unknown, so the only way to cover yourself is to ride as many sets as you can and take as many photos as you can of them. Thought we were done with retirement? You might want to think again. We aren't out of retirement talk just yet. Adding to the unexpected retirement of the Comeng fleet, the first Stage 3 life extended Comeng carriages were scrapped in 2025. Also being the third and fourth Stage 3 life extended sets retired from passenger service. Whilst it was for a designated project, it once again demonstrates how anything can happen in terms of retirements. Sets 585M 1143T 586M and 633M 1167T 634M were retired from passenger service in May 2025 for the T carriages to be scrapped and M carriages to be reformed into two lots of 2 carriage sets to haul Metro Infrastructure Evaluation Vehicle, nicknamed EVI, across the electrified network in Melbourne. They were given their own livery, some other exterior modifications at Macaulay Light Repair Centre, so if you do see it around, they will definitely stand out. Here, retirement did not mean the scrapping of every carriage, which is wonderful as well. During June of 2025, they ran on the main line for the first time as a 4-carriage set on transfer from Macaulay sidings to Newport workshops via Flinders Street. Then from there, they undertook some mainline testing on the Werribee line between Altona sidings, Newport and Werribee as 2-carriage sets. In addition, they have also coupled with EVI to form a Comeng EV Comeng consist for testing. However, at the time of making this video, they have not yet run as a track inspection as per their intended purpose. So this is definitely a watch this space situation. For now, Southern Short Haul Railroad is operating EVI with their diesel locomotives across every line. In addition to the EV120 project, Comeng sets have been utilised in other realms. Out west at Newport, Comeng trains have been shunting around new Extrapolis 2 testing sets, primarily between Newport workshops, Newport Station, and Newport sidings, including the Garden sidings, forming a whopping 12-carriage train. This is a lovely old leading the new scenario. Door modification works. With safety features being a non-negotiable in this day and age, the Comeng fleet, designed and built in the 1980s, weren't equipped with some of the modern requirements that we need as of today. One of them have been door safety aspects, where the Comeng fleet have had door emergency releases installed in each carriage. In addition, the doors have also been modified to strengthen their closure, as previously passengers were able to open the doors by hand, which doesn't take a genius to work out that if the train is moving, this poses a pretty big safety threat. To maintain the usage of the workshops at Westall, the sidings at Westall has been revamped into a projects yard called Westall Projects Yard, which has then allowed us to continue to see Comeng run semi-regularly along the Dandenong corridor, which is really cool. Whilst they weren't taking passengers, it was no doubt still nice to see them here and there around. As of June 2025, nearly the entire fleet has received these upgrades, improving the safety of Melbourne's oldest train fleets. And finally, it'd be worth looking at the lines in which Comeng trains operate on and will eventually operate on. As discussed before, when the metro tunnel opens in early 2026, that is fully operationally, Comeng will likely no longer operate on the Sunbury line. This means that the Comeng fleet will only run on about half of the lines in Metro Melbourne, namely the Werribee, Williamstown, Upfield, Craigieburn, Flemington Racecourse, Frankston, and Sandringham lines, totaling 7. A stark contrast to when they used to operate on every single line in Melbourne. There have even been talks about running them purely on even less lines. Whilst that is speculation, I'm sure it will happen in the future as the fleet downsizes. But I think we'll leave that for another time. As for now, it seems the Comeng fleet have some dark days ahead of them. I am tipping that next year's annual update ain't going to be a fun one. But for now, let's enjoy what we have left of them, and whilst the fleet is still quite large. If you are interested in the Comeng fleet, that is no doubt something that this channel prides itself on focusing on. Try take as much footage as you can of it, try ride them as much as you can, enjoy them whilst you can. Whilst they are still common quite now, over the next few years, that is something that is absolutely going to change. And mark my words, saying this in June of 2025. Anything I missed or a prediction you might have, feel free to chuck it in the comments below. Time for a little throwback. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I think we'll leave it at that. Cheers.